Okay, going live in 5.
Welcome, students, to Monk Meditation, the show about monks in the world of Warcraft.
The beta has begun, and we've got a key. Mistweavers got the ability Axe, and we talk tri-spec. Coming up on Monk Meditation, episode 25.
Here's your host, Chai T.
Welcome, one and all, to the show all about the best class in the game, the Nimble Drunk Monk. To discuss the changes happening in this class, not only have I got a crack team here, I assembled a team of fantastic martial artists trained in the ways of mistweaving, windwalking, and brewmastering. Unfortunately, they canceled, so I brought in the B team. Going overseas, we've got the Pandaren, turn Gnome, turn Draenei, turn whatever the hell he's going to be when Warlords comes out. Air, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I hope everyone else is doing well. And yes, Draenei. What do the Draenei say? What is it? Like a Shala? No, that's Blood Elf. I like that. Thank you, Chai. That's
anytime.
Very kind.
Next to the land of weirdness and chaos, also known as Florida, I bring you the Mistweaver, who is still reeling from his ability losses. Duke, how you doing, man?
I wouldn't say reeling. I'm mildly surprised. A little shocked.
Yeah, that's a good
Not
way
happy.
to put it. Yeah.
I really am underwhelmed at those changes, but we will go over them later.
Yep. All right, well, I think it's time to check in with tonight's host on how WoW's going in
Storm, Earth,
And fire!
All right, I'm going to start off with Duke. How is WoW for you, sir?
You know, let's see, we are, 3 out of 14 heroic at the moment with Rolling Thunder?
Yep, we got down, let's see, no, are we 3 or are we 2?
No, we're 2, sorry,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're only 2, and we've got a little bit of a break coming up here. We raid Friday nights. This weekend, Chai decided that a convention was more important than raiding with us, so we didn't raid.
Yep.
I don't blame him. And this weekend is the 4th of July, so most of us are Americans. We're going to go outside and blow up a small chunk of our country.
Yep. All right, Air, how's WoW going for you, sir?
It's been a good couple weeks since the last show. So I finished the first 500 coins for bloody coin farming. Thank you, Isle of Conquest. Good stuff. So I got a new mount. That's always exciting.
And they buffed that too, didn't they?
They
Buffed the
did.
drop rates?
Every killing blow you get a coin
Oh,
on
fantastic.
the PG. And
Yeah.
so now I'm going to actually try
It's
for
a
the
lot
2000.
easier to get now, isn't it?
It's amazing. You just go there, start farming bloody coins with all your kills. Touch of Death is fantastic for that. And you just Russian Jade Wind everything. It's great.
Russian Jade Wind,
But-
all the things.
Russian thing. It's a
Spin
lot of
to
fun. We
win.
talked about that last time, and yeah, I recommend it. Otherwise, it's been a really good raid week as well. The new team working as intended, and we cleared Heroic Malkarak. Done. Cleared Heroic Spoils. Done. Last night, Heroic Thok on the 13th pull. Down.
Nice.
So yeah,
Only
really
13.
good. So now, 13 pulls on
Lucky number 13.
over half the team does have prior experience, but we are all using alts. Most of the team is using older alts, so it's really nice to get in with a new team and be able to get up back to this, the harder heroics again. So we do have a bit of a kind of not a break per se, but we are losing one tank for 1 week and the other tank for the next week because of vacations, holidays, etc. So we are looking for a tank for the next 2 lockouts. If you're looking to do heroics and you're geared and you like us, that'd be fun. Join working as intended for a little bit.
And your
But,
specialty is taking punches to the face.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So no, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good raiding week. It's been a good time in the beta this time. the real beta.
Yeah,
the
actual beta. Yeah. Did either of you take advantage of the Gaze of the Black Prince?
No. I have publicly stated that I have one tune and one tune only. It's my monk. He already has the... I'm not doing that again. No, 1,000 times no.
Yeah. Air, how about you?
Well, my boosted 90, my boomkin, I did the entire new legendary with only the buff to the original stuff and the Valor cut in half. So he had a cloak for a while. I did decide to finally start working on my paladin gnome, who actually I'm gonna start leveling or gearing up his prot because of faster Q times. But even then, I did finish up his Sigil quest, the 10 and 10.
Yep.
Did finish that up. I guess the buff helped. Maybe. But now
those are pretty quick. Now you're at
1,
Test of Valor.
Yeah, 1,000 Valor into the Test of Valor, and that's all I really benefited from. Because he was already pretty high up in the Black Prince, and that's super easy to farm up. Anyway, so yes, my vote for the most useless buff this tier.
Yeah, so let me tell you my story about my Gaze of the Black Prince quests. Alright, so I've had all of my 90s besides my monk stuck at Test of Valor forever. And I finally started working on my druid, and my druid healer got up to like 2,300 of the 3,000 last week. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to take advantage of this buff, and I'm going to get a couple of Titan runestones, or no, that's whatever, the Secrets of the Empire. I'm going to get a couple secrets. And so I go and I grind the Valor, I do a whole bunch of heroic scenarios, and I get my 700, and I'm like, all right, sweet. And I turned it in, and it's like, you must have revered with the Black Prince. So I'm like, okay. All right, so I go out to the Isle of Thunder, and I take that nice little exploit spot, or clever use of game mechanics, and grind that up, and I get revered, and I go and I turn that in. It's like, I'm like, all right, time to queue up for flex. Oh, change of command. And the stupid war game thing. Okay, so.
Oh yeah.
All right, do that. We two-manned it. I mean, I would have tried to solo it if I'm a healer. That would have taken forever. And so I do it with my girlfriend, and oh my, and I hopped onto CTR. We got a few people for the war games. We did the war games, got that all taken care of, and then it's like, okay, time to queue up for Flex, and I hop into the raid browser, get a team for Flex or on Nourishin, and we down Nourishin, and nothing. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I helped my girlfriend kill these bosses earlier in the week so she could get her cloak too. So yeah, and then I only had like 15 minutes left of game time before I had to go to bed for work. And I was like, okay, well, I just don't get to take advantage of this. So, sweet. But I actually have a tune past the Test of Valor, so that's something.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah. I guess I got to take advantage of the gaze for a little bit to get the rep. And the double rep is nice. I was getting like 120-something per statue out there, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. It's not too bad. I mean, if you go there get a friend who's normal or higher geared, and everything just melts. Get a monk, especially like a brewmaster. Pull everything, and you give yourself 20 minutes, and you'll go from nothing to exalted. It's crazy.
Yeah, that little spot over there is really nice. They just constant nice stream of stuff to kill. It was fantastic.
Oh, we were still killing stuff so fast. We had to do circles around and let stuff respawn. It was great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to get caught up in the crazy whirlwind of WoW news, because it actually was kind of busy today. In
dizzying haze.
So the beta has begun, and it's really just the alpha, just with more people in it. So, yeah. But still, beta has begun. So
you say that like it's a bad thing.
Well,
oh god, beta.
Well,
more people.
I spent
more monks.
Yes, more monks. But I spent like a lot of time going through Shadow Moon and leveling up, and we did that dungeon together, which was so incredibly painful, Duke. And then they wiped our characters and had to do it all over again. Like, damn it.
Not a problem. That's totally fine.
Except for this time when it came in, there was like 800 people all trying to click Velen that he freaked out and zoned and phased out. He's like, screw this, out. Okay, I'm back.
I've never seen so many gnomes run.
Yeah, so it's a little buggy, but a lot of people have gotten in that weren't in before. So what they did is they opened it up for people that are active and B have long time accounts. So those are the focus group that they were getting people into, and they're going to invite more and more people as time goes on. So right now it's still very buggy. I'm hoping that they put out a new phase soon, but at least this last alpha build that they put in before it went to beta, it's the current thing that's on the patch notes. Like all readiness is gone and versatility's in, things like that. So it's it's the current build, which is good. We're going to actually play around with that. So Windwalker's feeling fantastic. From what I've been seeing from Twitter, Mistweaver is feeling really, really good, and Brewmaster hasn't changed at all. So have fun. All right. So how's your guys' experience with the beta so far?
Why don't you go first, Duke?
Yeah, my experience has been, maybe when Warlords launches, I should just take a week off and come back later. Because it's crowded. It is so impossibly crowded, which is
the world
insane
feels
to think of.
So nice with that many people and no flying. That's just great. It's going to be like an all expansion. I'm a big fan.
This is it's not quite as bad as when the first wave of beta went out for Mists, when all the annual pass people got in. It's not
I was
quite
one of those.
Yeah, it's not quite that bad, but it's close. Yeah. Like the first little area, you have to kill so many monsters, and you have to gather so many things, and all the things that you have to click, you can't click at the same time someone else is clicking it. So you get this mass group of people standing around, all clicking madly, trying to get their
each other.
As soon as you come to Shadow Moon Valley, you're sitting there. Hey, we want you to plant an alliance banner, and what you have is 30 people just. Is it my turn? Is it my turn? Is it my turn? Fuck. Is it my turn? God damn it. No?
And then you have to kill 6 monsters, and everyone's trying to kill the monsters. So as it spawns, you have 18 people shooting stuff at it.
Those spawn really fast, though.
When you're phased in to the correct phase.
Oh yeah. That's a point beside itself.
No. They're still there even when you're phased out.
Oh, that's true. I was getting
attacked.
attacked.
As long as you attack them.
Yeah, I was getting attacked. Yeah, that was. So
I'm in
fun
one
times.
area and I'm doing, my spin to win thing, and I fly over to another one. Suddenly, everyone disappears, and I'm just thinking, "Oh God, this is what Left Behind feels like. Everyone's gone." And then suddenly, I'm continuing to spin because, I got nothing else to do. Everyone left me behind, and that's when I started getting attacked again. And suddenly, it's hey, you've killed 4 of 6 ravens.
Okay.
All right,
So
that's
I'm
cool.
I'm looking forward to actually getting up to 92, playing out with some of the new perks. Hopefully I'll get different ones than I did last time. I got to play with Blackout Kick and Transcendence. Transcendence was fun. Having that as an instant cast is a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. So
in the alpha, the first perk I received was the 6 Chi perk, which is really nice.
Yes.
That's to get that early, I think, is a pretty big boon.
Yeah.
And this time leveling around, my first perk was the 20% boost to Fist of Fury damage.
Oh god,
Nice.
that already
So
hits like a truck.
That is very nice, yeah. So I've been pretty lucky with the perk so far. And that's what it is. It's strictly luck-based. It's kind of neat how it appears. A little slot machine comes up, tells you, hey,
that was kinda cool.
you leveled up. We're going to give you something extra. It's pleasant. It's very nice.
Yeah, mine was kind of boring. I got Renewing Mist for 2 additional seconds, which is fantastic if I were ever in Serpent Stance.
Right. Right.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far and playing. Right now it's the phasing issues are a really big problem. I am having a bit of an issue with disconnects, so
Yeah.
if I'm sit down to play and I only have an hour or so to jump on for doing stuff, having that constantly interrupted does take time. So I would like to be on a lot more.
It just... You hoped that the servers were a bit more stable, but you understand, okay, this is beta, and when they unleashed a flood, they unleashed one hell of a flood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why. I've had this picture in my mind of the Blizzard engineers, each one assigned a server, just holding a fire extinguisher, and every time they see a little spark, just poof, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's talks about people who are finding ways to intentionally crash the game.
Oh, fantastic.
But that's
Things like
good.
that.
No. Those are good people.
That's true. As long as they're
Those are
sending
good
bug
people.
reports.
Exactly. Well, or I'm
Well,
guessing
a
there's ways to
crash,
track that.
a server crash will generate a bug report whether you want it to or not.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about some other things that have changed. Coming up in Warlords, guild leveling is gone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Yeah,
the reasoning for this, the reason that they've said is that for small guilds, this is a punishment for leveling because it
Absolutely.
takes you forever to get up to 25. And the reason that you want to be at 25 is all the perks that come along with it. So what they're doing is they're baking these perks in. When you get a guild, you're automatically 25. So some of them have just been baked in, like the flight path time increase has just been baked in. That just happens whether you're in a guild or not. One of the controversial things has been the removal of the money that gets put in. Like when you loot something from a body, a portion gets added
cash
on.
flow.
Yeah, cash flow. So that's been removed. But they're saying the reason for that is because of exploitive things. The reason that when you log into a game for the first time, a new character, you get flooded with guild invites is because of this. They say exploitive game
guild
masters.
invite.
Yep, if they just get a whole ton of people, they're all putting money into the bank, and this one person gets to just take it out the whole time. So
There's a lot of people working the auction house that fund their stuff that way.
yeah.
I'm glad I didn't know about this before because I might have been a little bit more unscrupulous in inviting people to my bank guild.
Yeah.
Because that's a great. I could have probably.
I
how many
never-
mounts could
I
I
had
have
never
bought?
even thought about that.
They're watching you already.
Right.
Tell me about it. I forgot the week in WoW. Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah, well, that'll be post show.
I got a special shout out.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so
I think on the Sundering they call that an F off.
right. Yeah, so this has been controversial, but they say that what they're going to do is try to give legitimate guilds other ways to raise money. For example, they're bringing back BOE drops in raids, because that was not a thing in Siege. You didn't get any BOE drops in there. So they're bringing those back for raiding guilds to kind of sell those to make money on the auction house. So that's one way to do it. I'm sure they're going to come up with other ways too for smaller guilds even to make money. Because I know I run a small guild on Argent Dawn, and we don't make enough to cover repair bills at all, and we've got very few people
CTR
on.
doesn't make enough to cover repair
No,
bills.
but those are two extremes. I've got a very small guild of maybe like 5 or 6 people to log in at any given time, and one that has 6,000 or 7,000 in a given time. Those are two very different extremes. But the medium-sized guilds, I think it doesn't bring in enough to really cover it, but it definitely helps. So I'm hoping they come up with something.
The beginning of the expansion perk is what
Right.
it is. You know, beginning with everyone's leveling up, everyone's generating tons of money, but once you get to the end, it's nothing.
Exactly.
And I mean, for what they're looking to do with increasing group content, right now, you know, do a raid, you get 1,000 gold. Do a dungeon, is it 500 or 250?
Yeah, something like that.
Scenarios like 100 to 250 gold. I mean, if you do all of that, I think we worked it out one day when in the early days of CTR to figure it out. I think you could per week you can earn. I forget if it's 7,000 gold or 9,000 gold if you do all of the challenges together as a guild.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hefty chunk of change. It's more than you're bringing in, you know, near the end of an expansion. And as long as they up that. You know, guilds are supposed to be for group content, for social activity.
Right.
If you have a 2-person guild, you're in such a niche, you're in such a small like outlier of that it's, you know, it honestly doesn't make sense to cater to you.
It's not what guilds are
unintended
designed
purpose.
for. Yeah.
It's like low-level
Yeah,
PvP.
but, I mean,
no one cares.
On the plus side, though, they have said that they're going to make, you know, repair costs are going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
So you're not going to need as much going out. You know, all of the special items and perks that you get are still there.
Yeah.
Mass res is still there.
Yeah, it's just baked in. It's there from
Yeah.
the beginning, which is really nice. You know.
Exactly. And I mean, think about it this way. How many times have you been seeing on Trade Chat and you see somebody saying, hey, level 9 guild, and your first thought is like,
No
God,
way.
noobs.
Yeah, no way am I joining that.
That's what this is going to kill.
Yep.
And it should kill that.
All right, so faction hubs, this is another controversial point, move to Ashran, which is a PvP island outside of thing. I don't want to get too much in discussion because I have a feeling this will be a rat hole like crazy, but this has been a controversial move. So at BlizzCon, they didn't promise this. Bashiak has been very clear in saying this wasn't a promise when we put it up on BlizzCon. That was just our plans at the time.
And if you're going after Blizzard saying you promised this, you're a moron. No, they didn't promise this.
So,
they said this is what we want to do.
Yeah, originally what they were planning on doing is you'd have your faction hubs be on opposite sides of the continent, Bladespire for the Horde, and Temple Karabor for the Alliance in Shadowmoon Valley, and those were going to be your thing. So they decided against that. They decided to move it more into the shrine method that they did. So they're going to put 2 different faction hubs on Ashran. Ashran is a PvP continent, but before you get too concerned, being in the hub is not going to PvP you. Stepping outside the hub is not going to PvP you. There will be a very clear, distinct area where you can be, not flagged.
And they are also making it really hard to get PvP flagged. You have to turn the flag on before you can do anything.
Yeah, instead of
if you've got some guy who's PvP flagged and he's doing his AoE to try and get you flagged so he can kill you, that will never happen again. That's gone.
And it just won't let you heal someone who's PvP flagged instead of letting you heal and flag you. So
yeah, so all of that's going away. But God, do I hate this move.
I'm not a fan from the outset, but I'm willing. I mean, I'm going to wait to pass official judgment just because you got to see what they're going to make it look like. If it's going to be another, what is the shield wall place called?
It's going to look. I mean, there are pictures if you go on Wowhead. It's going to look like random Alliance Town and random Horde Town.
They said it's
like
not at all final. So
yeah. I mean, I
it's
want to see Draenei architecture.
It's not going to be this fantastic, fortress of the orcs or this, dedicated temple of the Draenei. That's the problem I have. They're going to try and make it. They want it to look like your home, like the Alliance home or the Horde home. It's like, great. Well, that means if I'm Alliance, there's going to be a lot more cobblestone around. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's for me. The shrine in Pandaria, its only purpose was for me to go and portal to Stormwind.
Yep.
So, really the hub in any given location, if it doesn't have an auction house in it, which I doubt it's going to, they haven't ever done that.
Except for engineers.
Yeah. There's no purpose. They don't want Stormwind and Orgrimmar to die. And so it's never going to be a spot where you make it your base of operations. I have a feeling that most people are going to spend most of their time in their garrison, and there's going to be a portal to Stormwind or Orgrimmar in your garrison, so you're seldom going to step foot in Ashran, especially because there's no flying, so you're going to have the flight path everywhere. So if you're a raider, the raid is going to be in what? Frostfire, right, is the first one? And so...
no, Gorgrond.
But still, that's going to be a hell of a flight from Ashran to Gorgrond. So you're not going to be camped there for the most part. So I don't think that whatever they do, whether you're going to be in... I at first thought that's why they were moving it, because if you're in Shadowmoon and you have to fly all the way to Bladespire to do anything, that would suck. But then I saw where Ashran was, and it's out in the corner away from everything anyway. So I was like, okay, well that point's moot. So yeah,
I like Zagnox in chat says he preferred Dalaran. Dalaran had an auctioneer, which was nice.
Dalaran did not have it
during Wrath. It did not have an auctioneer for everyone. They only turned it on for everyone after Wrath.
Yeah, same with Shatrath.
Well, an engineer has always had it. An engineer had it. You had the auction houses for everyone in Shat after about what 2.2, something like that. It wasn't in at launch.
No, I think it was after Wrath came out.
So that was also after Wrath?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've always said they want Stormwind and Orgrimmar and the faction cities to be lively. They want it to feel alive, so they're never going to put an auction house.
I get that. So just make it really easy to go back and forth from your garrison.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I think the garrison is going to
like
be your hub.
Yeah.
And these other hubs are just going to be there just because. I don't know. I don't know why they're even doing it.
At least my hub will be in Shadowmoon Valley, which is where I'm going to spend all my time.
Right.
Because I'm a Draenei.
Yeah, and you can chill. Awesome. You can chill out in Temple of Caribor all you want.
Yeah, I can go do that. I still visit the Exodar every now and then. I like to, I go there and defend it. I love going there and catching.
Yeah, you're that one person
people
there.
I saw catching people trying to two-man Velen. Because it can do with it, and I just go and wreck their day. It's a lot of fun.
It's like, right, damn it, we weren't expecting air.
Speaking of Draenei, there was a lovely new model that got placed, and holy cow, Draenei have nipples. Okay.
Nipplegate has kind of been the theme for the past couple of years.
I mean, the human models, everything is a bit more out there. It's a bit more, it's cartoony is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's exciting.
I loved that face they put on the art craft of the human male. That was.
You mean Gaston?
Yeah, but no, the one that was that meme that came out from the choppers of the guy looking all intense. They did one totally mocking that one. That was fantastic. So the human male got released in an art craft over the last couple weeks, and
he's ready to fill in for James Bond.
Yeah, it's very very muscly and hairy.
Yep.
And so it looks really good. It looks fine. It's on par with all the other ones.
I'm not 100% happy with it. I still think he's got gorilla arms.
Yeah, well, they have to.
So you got to do something to show to make the armor show up.
Right.
So you make the arms longer?
Well, if you look at proportionally with when you have all the armor, it makes the torso look longer. It makes everything else. It fits overall, especially a plate.
Yes. Okay. If you're a plate wearer in human, it looks fantastic because my Death Knight looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So they've also added in unfinished models for Draenei male, undead male, human female, and night elf female to the alpha and the beta. I think I saw the female Draenei without eyes also in there.
It doesn't quite show up, I think, in the character creation screen, but in game, it's okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Just, when you're out and about, just zoom in, and I think you'll be able to see it then.
So I think we're only missing a few race combinations
Blood elves.
Now. Blood elves. We haven't seen.
Male elf.
Troll. Female Tauren.
Female Tauren.
Right. Yeah, trolls. We haven't seen either one.
I don't think we've seen trolls at all.
But them Draenei. Look at those. It's
the male Draenei. Holy crap.
Two problems.
They've narrowed their shoulders, haven't they?
Two problems. One, their neck is gone, which can be fixed. You can make the head a little bit taller. And the shoulders, if you notice the shoulders, they fit differently. They actually fit more like shoulders would to a point. They're sitting on the shoulder versus above, which is a nice change, but the angle is completely wrong. They tilted them going from like a horizontal, Draenei shoulders, big. Look at my shoulders. I have giant shoulders. From a horizontal angle, and if you're only listening, this is not looking, you can't see my hands. Do a kind of a tilted down angle, and it cuts into their arms. It just doesn't look good. They've lost their posture. They've lost their heroic stance.
Their football team will never be the same.
No,
it's disappointing. And
I had my money on the Draenor Draenei's, but I'm gonna have to change that.
I'm looking forward to go into. If you're curious how your character right now will look, go to Wowhead. Go to the profiler. Go in there, load your character, and then you can see what your character right now will look like as one of the new races, which is really nice.
Yep.
All right, well, now it is time to keep your spirits up while the world changes around you in...
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Uplift. Don't worry, I'm sure it happens to other monks too.
All right, so alpha updates. Ability pruning. We have got the shears coming at us. especially if you're a mistweaver. So all of us have lost swift reflexes, and what that did is increase your parry and counter strike. So that's gone. Windwalker, going along those lines, sparring has been cut as well. And sparring, if I recall correctly, is when you get hit, you increase parry. Is that right? Or was that the...
It's the stacking... Oh, boy.
Shows you why they cut it.
Yeah. I think that was with the Fist of Fury. When you're Fist of Fury, you do 100% parry or something.
When you are attacked by a melee enemy in front of you, you begin to spar their attacks, increasing your chance to parry by 5% for 10 seconds.
Okay, I was wrong.
When you attack them back, sparring is amplified by an additional 5%. Attacks stacks up to 3 times.
Okay, so something we didn't really care about at all, especially...
It was a passive that looked cool, good for PvP, because if someone's attacking you from the front, good for leveling, but otherwise, I mean, I don't feel too bad.
Nope. See, for Brewmaster, LeBlue left a note here. What is ability pruning? Yeah. So Brewmasters didn't lose anything yet.
The perfect tanking class remains perfect.
Yes. Though I think Brewmaster is going to get the cut here pretty quick. But
they might not.
They might not, but I imagine it's coming. Let's talk Mistweaver, though. Dematerialize. This is something that's making the PvPers cry. And everyone's taking a drink here because holy crap.
Dematerialize used to prevent attacks from hitting you for 2.5 seconds each time you were stunned.
So anti-rogue.
Basically.
Really good.
But
good.
They want to. They're decreasing PvP stuns and everything else. So they want a stun to be more important. Yeah. And it's kind of silly to have a healer who is completely immune to stuns.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from a PvP perspective, it kind of makes sense with everything they're trying to do.
In terms of PvP, what their goal is they're squishing in this item squish. They're squishing everything down, but they're squishing player health less. And so it's similar to exactly what they did in BC, where in vanilla, if you were around doing PvP, you could one-shot people. As a mage, you do that trinket pyroblast, dead. You do a rogue, backstab, dead. And it's like they didn't want that. They wanted people to be able to survive, make it more of a strategy game. So what they did is they boosted stamina levels like crazy in BC.
Yeah. You have tanks at level 100 with like 800,000 health.
Yeah.
Post squish.
Yeah. So player health is going to remain high, and so they didn't want. Healers are still going to have crazy survivability because they're going to be able to keep healing themselves. While you're having health tick down, your player damage is going to be less than the player health. So healers are still going to be survivable, so they wanted to get rid of some of these abilities that made them extra survivable, like Dematerialize. So moving on, let's talk about 3 abilities that the rest of us have that Mistweavers no longer have.
All right, so I'll take over here.
All right.
Touch of Death. No one cares, because the only reason the Mistweaver ever used it was to taunt the Windwalkers. Seriously, it's like, yeah, mine's on cooldown. Suck it, Jai. That's pretty much all it ever turned into. Transcendence is one that makes sense with their strategy of healers going forward, where they want less mobile healers. We still have roll. They're not taking away our roll. That's one of those things that think ability. But we needed to lose something, and it was Transcendence. And it makes total sense, because in one GCD, you can fly up to 30 yards away. The one that kind of you can see either way is Zen Meditation. And for me, it's not that big a deal, because we still have the better Zen Meditation in Diffuse Magic. Half the cooldown. You don't lose it on melee. So I'm not really that heartbroken about these changes, about these abilities that are gone.
Right. I mean, the fact is you've got, as a Mistweaver, you have your hamster ball if you need that extra survivability. You've got, you've got these self heals that you can do to keep yourself up. Whereas Windwalkers and Brewmasters, they need Zen Med. So they did change Zen Med a little bit, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So far, like, Transcendence, I think, would have been cool, but like you said, they're trying to limit the mobility of Mistweavers. of
And
healers
healers
altogether.
in general.
Right.
And healers in general. I mean, you're no longer going to have druids running around. The fact that there's a cast time on, what is it, Rejuve has a cast time? No, that's still instant.
No. It's
Wild Growth has a cast time now.
yeah.
So the fact that they're adding cast times, the fact that they're decreasing the mana cost, the fact that you're going to have a lot of fights that are essentially going to be stack on me and I heal you, it means that you're going to need to know where you're going and react less to the fireball coming up behind you.
Yeah. And mistweavers, I think, are still going to be one of the more mobile healers because of roll.
Yeah. Exactly.
Roll is, and especially once that perk kicks in where you actually roll further. Roll faster. I always confuse that. You roll faster.
Me too.
It's especially if you roll that in with Chi Torpedo. If you decide to take that because you're crazy, then holy crap! Whee! Spinny monk. All right, so let's talk Zen meditation. So right now, how Zen meditation works is when you pop that on you, you get 90% damage reduction, until you get hit by a melee attack. And you absorb up to 5 spells that are cast at you or your teammates. You'll redirect them to you, and you'll take that as 90% damage. So they decided we don't really care about that raid utility thing that you have, what little you have. So bye-bye.
It never worked.
Yeah, it was so inconsistent. You
It
never
was
knew.
like, well, I mean, it might work on this boss. I mean, who knew that it actually worked on Megara's Rampage?
Well, I always used it there, but I didn't know if it worked or not. I just used it as
works.
a personal cooldown.
It actually redirects
Yeah.
Megara's Rampage, which is an AoE effect. It's not supposed to redirect AoEs. But then you've got Garage doing his little I'm a ballerina dance. Doesn't redirect those, even though those are targeted on people as well. It was so inconsistent, I'm happy they got rid of it. Now it's just a straight 90% damage reduction.
We already have one of those.
We have a
For
90% magic reduction. Zen meditation is also a physical damage as long as you're not being meleeed.
Yep. But it
You should
also
really take that out.
it also cuts your DPS as well. So this is oh god, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I have to keep
In
this.
general,
keep
you
myself
should
alive.
be using dampen harm or diffuse magic.
Yep.
Oh, totally. They should just, if you get meleeed, it shouldn't take you out of it, is what I think.
Yeah. I agree.
At that point, it's diffuse magic with a nicer looking ability, with a nicer looking action, and double the cooldown.
Yeah.
I really will. I would be surprised if Zen meditation makes it the way it is now through beta.
Yeah. I have a feeling more changes are coming to Zen Med. So.
Yes.
All right, let's talk spinning crane kick. So in Serpent Stance, so for your Mistweavers, no longer is going to do damage. It's just going to heal. So I think that's okay, because, I mean, really, as Serpent Stance, your whole point is to heal people. So
Yeah, you should not really be putting out damage except for Crackling Jade Lightning in Serpent Stance.
Right. All right, so let's talk Tiger Eye Brew. I think Aaron and I are going to have some discussion here. This currently is not active in the beta. I've tested it.
Okay.
We're still getting it 4 stacks, even though the note says 6 stacks. Or 6.
I was wondering about
that. What they're doing is they're going to continue to slow the Windwalker down. How they're doing it now is, right now, in live, every time you use 4 chi, you will get a stack of Tiger Eye Brew and then have a chance based on your mastery to get more. They're increasing that to requiring 6 chi in order to get the stack. From what I can tell, your chi or your combo breakers, they are counting, but it also is not up to 6, so I can't tell for sure whether they're going to continue doing that. So this is a slowdown of our spec even further. It's going to slow the rate of Tiger Eye Brew. But I've noticed that with the haste values that I'm at right now, even with my mastery crazy low as it is, I'm still having no problem having Tiger Eye Brew up. So I don't know how much of an impact this is going to have.
Well, I mean, right now, especially with a 500 level character, 500 eye level, TEB generation was a lot slower. I mean, and it's a pretty big hole like you do a couple abilities with the 50 energy jab. You could do a couple abilities and suddenly out of energy. Oh, right, okay, energizing brew, okay, out of energy. Fist of Fury, out of energy. I mean, you had to change your rotation, change your priority for one thing, so it takes a little bit getting used to. But right now, there does seem to be a bit of a hole. However, when I imported my 580 character, it's a lot smoother, a lot faster, a lot fewer holes, things like that, and still without the change, it's really, really fast generation. So, if we're looking at how our levels will be near the end, I think in the beginning it's going to hurt a lot, but it might get better as we go on. But right now we're looking at even our first raid tier set, which can change, and we're going to talk about this, but that's maybe could be completely overpowered in how much Tiger's Eye Brew it's going to give us. But I mean, they're still running a lot of numbers, they're still doing a lot. It seems like they're definitely slowing us down, but is that because we would be so insanely high from the very beginning that at the end it'd be, we'll have to pour some out for our homies because there's just too much going on,
Do you think that they're going to adjust the rate of mastery in the lower tiers to help out with that?
Like, if they keep the current tier set bonus, which, I mean, it basically we're gaining extra stacks of Tiger's Eye Brew whenever we use a Fist of Fury, which is amazing. And that's our 2-piece right now for the current set. So that would probably offset that, considering how much we should be using a Fist of Fury and the fact that they're really drilling it into our heads that this is what you need to be using on cooldown.
Yep. They're turning it back into our signature ability, which is great.
Yeah. So I mean, it's using that to kind of balance it up might be good, but it's really going to. I mean, once they get into dungeons and once they make the change on the beta, that's when we're really going to be able to see how well it affects play style, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they changed the tooltip, but they didn't actually change it. It must be a bug. But I kept testing it, expecting it to be the 6, and it's like every time I did 4, I got a stack. So I knew it was still bugs. So, but let's talk fist weaving, because this is where we got some big changes in the alpha. So, yeah.
Taking a drink.
A little bit
Taking
more,
a drink.
Duke. All right, Duke, take it away, sir.
All right. Muscle memory is gone, and if you don't know what it is, now actually, it's kind of completely gone, which is good.
Right.
So that would refund 4% of your mana, and it buffs Blackout Kick or the next Blackout Kick or Tiger Palm you do to 150% damage every time you jab or Spinning Crane Kick hits 3 enemies. What they have done to compensate is that they've increased the baseline damage of Blackout Kick and Tiger Palm by 40%. Awesome.
And then you'll get an extra 20% on top of that from the perk. So
an extra 20% damage?
Yeah, because you have Blackout Kick as a perk where you get 20% extra
damage.
That's
right. I forgot about the Draenor perks.
Yep.
So just the baseline damage before you get that perk is a 40% increase to Blackout Kick and Tiger Palm.
Yep.
Jab is being decreased from 8% to 2.4% base mana.
So you don't have to worry about doing that whole bounce back and forth.
You do not go anymore. Yeah. Like, period. You can sit there and fist weave all bloody day. It is fantastic.
As long as you don't cast Crackling Jade Lightning.
Yes.
Yes.
Spinning Crane Kick has increased from 7.2% to 8.8% mana, but now it always generates 1 chi. You no longer have to hit 3 enemies or heal 3 people in order to get that chi.
Yeah, but
so that's what they've done for muscle memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's take a look at Serpent's Zeal. Also now gone. So this was a passive, and what that did is it played with Eminence. It allowed Eminence to trigger from auto attacks. So I think it was like when you did Blackout Kick, you gained Serpent's Zeal, and then
for 30 seconds, and
your auto attacks happen. So they got rid of that. So now Eminence is triggered by all damage dealt, as long as it's not indirect damage like the caster legendary proc, things like that. So direct damage, everything just automatically eminences when you're in Crane Stance.
If you press a button and it does damage, it also heals.
Yep.
That's the rule now.
Blackout Kick will now grant Crane's Zeal, which will increase your critical strike by 20%. So they replaced Serpents with Crane's Zeal and baked in Eminence. So this makes Fist Weaver less
And what
smoother.
Mistweaver doesn't love an increased 20% crit. Seriously.
No kidding.
That's like amazing. And like Serpent Seal, it lasts 30 seconds. It's every time you blackout kick. But you're going to be using blackout kick a lot more because of our next change.
Yes.
Vital Miss, the passive, is gone. What it used to do was that every time you hit with Tiger Palm, you would be granted 1 stack of Vital Miss, and it would decrease the cast time and the mana cost of Surging Mist by 20%. Stacks up to 5 times. Well, guess what? Now it's baked into Crane Stance techniques, and you get a stack of Vital Mist every time you spend Chi.
Yes.
So you hit Rising Sun Kick, you got 2 stacks. You hit Blackout Kick, you got 2 more stacks. You hit Tiger Palm, you've got your 5 stacks. Cast it for a Surging Mist, start your rotation all over again.
And with the glyph of Surging Mist, this actually makes you a somewhat decent and capable healer if you're spending a lot of Chi.
Right.
Yeah, because you're hitting that Surging Mist, which hits like a truck, and you're getting it for free, and you're getting it like every few seconds. So,
and it generates Chi.
Yes, and it will generate Chi, so keep your
So
Chi
you will
generation
have 1 less Chi to worry about to spend, because all you need to do then is jab once, your 2 Chi, Rising Sun Kick.
So now
Keep that buff up. Keep your Blackout Kick up.
So in the alpha, you still had that. You would put Rising Sun Kick up, you would put Blackout Kick up for Serpent Zeal, and then you would continue to do that jab, Tiger Palm, jab, Tiger Palm, jab, Tiger Palm, Surging Mist, rinse, lather, repeat, keep your buffs going. This change has made our rotation much more open. You can heal as you need to. This is making you a healer that does DPS rather than a DPS that happens to heal. Because now Blackout Kick does the cleave. We'll do
up to 5 now instead of 4.
They'll do the cleave, AoE, eminence, heal. So you use Blackout Kick when you need to, and of course you still have to do it to kick your critical strike up with Crane Zeal. So there's still kind of that buff uptime, but you really only need a Rising Sun Kick when you need a big heal or to get your buff up. And otherwise it's Blackout Kick if you need a cleave, it's Tiger Palm if you don't need a cleave, and you go from there. So it's actually making it much more of a healing stance, which is good. And it's less of that 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1, and so
it also makes you a very capable
doing wrong.
DPS. It makes you a very capable DPS because now you're putting out actual damage. Rising Sun Kick hits like a freaking truck.
Yes.
Oh my God! Why was that ability not baked into Mistweavers?
Yeah.
Mainly because it was stupid OP, but why not?
Right.
So this is what I found in my 550-ish gear running around as a Fistweaver on the beta. If I want to pull something, I hit Crackling Jade Lightning. That gives me 4 Chi in 1 GCD and takes away about 10% of my mana on the flip side. Once it gets near me, I Rising Sun Kick, Blackout Kick, I jab, and I Tiger Palm. Typically, it is dead by the time the Tiger Palm comes out. And if I need to heal, I toss a quick Surging Mist and I'm good.
Yeah, it's the rotation feels so much better than it does on live, because live's rotation is so boring.
Sleepy.
Yeah, just it's so boring. It's like, yeah, 1 2.
You're doing this 1 2 1 2 1 2 5 stacks. Surging Mist somebody at random.
Yep.
Jab, Tiger, Blackout Kick to keep up your Serpent Seal.
Now here's an interesting caveat to add in there. Chi Explosion. You replace Blackout Kick with that, and all of a sudden, when you're using, you can have much more interesting decisions. Go 1 2 3 4 Chi Explosion. All of a sudden, you're probably going to have a Surging Mist ready to go.
Yep.
And
do I only want to spend 1 Chi this time? Do I want to spend 3? Do we need to spend 2? It becomes interesting, which is good.
That's going to be an interesting math game, though, to maximize, because you don't want to spend 4 Chi when you're already at 4 Chi towards Surging Mist.
Yes.
And so it's going to be an interesting math decision in your head. It always get up to 5.
Because of the way that Vital Mist now works, when you have your 5 stack of Vital Mist, you are throwing away potential healing by spending Chi.
Yep.
So you do not want to spend chi at 5 stacks of vital mist because you will. It's just gone. There's 20% of your surging mist gone. So what this really means for Fistweavers is that it's going to be the kind of spec that everyone and their mother is going to pick up and be decent at. But the really good ones are going to stand out immediately because they're going to have really solid DPS and nobody's dying.
Yep.
So I'm going to be able to heal.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sweet. I'm all for this change.
Yep. As long as you can math. As long as you can math on the fly, you're good.
I can math.
Yeah.
I
You
can
will
math.
not top meters on either way, right? The best that you can do is probably about half a similarly geared Windwalker and half a similarly geared Mistweaver. But you're contributing both at the same time, and when you really need it, you can kick yourself into that 5th gear, turn into a Mistweaver, and start healing all the things.
Yep. That's exactly what I did in that instance where our tank was about to die, switching the Mistweaver, and all of a sudden back to full.
That was Navox.
Yep, back to Fistweaving. So
I mean, he was down to like 3% health, and you just like, okay, change to Mistweaver, heal, renewing mist, uplift. Okay, he's back to Fistweaver. And I think for that fight, correct me if I'm wrong, the logs actually back you up in being top DPS and heals for that encounter.
yes. So
That's not
Mistweaver
bad for a healer.
Mistweaver, awesome. We're in a good place. So let's talk tier bonuses. So I want to put this as a caveat right up front. Celestalon says, for your information, tier 17 set bonuses are A, incomplete, B, still under heavy iteration, C, not even remotely tuned. That being said, Brewmaster.
Let's talk.
Yes. Alright, so Brewmaster 2-piece. When you dodge an attack while under elusive brew, you will gain X amount of energy. And that number hasn't actually been out there yet. And for 4-piece, Keg Smash has 2 additional charges. So, some notes from Blue. He said he would personally like to swap the 2 set bonuses around since the 4-piece seems a lot more like a 2-piece bonus, so like a quality of life change, while the 2-piece seems far more in the realm of improving overall performance, allowing increased chi generation, purifying brew use due to said generation, and potentially more expel harms below 35% depending on the energy we're gaining per dodge. So as for the 2-piece, again, which is when you dodge an attack while under the effect of elusive brew, you're going to gain so much energy. So he says this is going to devalue haste and increase the value of crit for the first tier relatively. We'll see how it goes. Chi Brew's value is increased because of this. This particular bonus would be stronger in ad fights due to more chances to dodge. You could see in internal cooldown added to balance this out and not make it too strong on any ad fights that we may see in the first tier rating. For the 4-piece, he says, mostly a convenience change.
Awesome.
Yes, so 4-piece.
So awesome.
Keg Smash will have 2 additional charges. So, like Roll, with Celerity, you have 3 charges of Keg Smash to bash people's heads in, which is nice. So this is mostly a convenience change, allowing Monk tanks to actually do a decent amount of burst and build a decent amount of shuffle to start in case of early heavy hits. Will mostly be useful for saving for bursts or adds. Only adds 2 Keg Smashes overall, nothing more. Quality of life bonus at the worst. Alright, Duke as our resident Brewmaster extraordinaire for now, since LeBlue and Adam aren't here.
You know, I think really LeBlue covered it with the notes that he left us. Dodge an attack while under elusive brew, you gain some energy. That's a really neat ability, but if it doesn't have an ICD, it's going to be so horribly broken. You're going to see everyone doing Brewmaster tanks for the first tier.
Yep.
Because it's just stupid. And the 4-piece Keg Smash has 2 additional charges. All the beer, have it.
Yep.
It's just it's just going to be you're using it every 3 seconds is what that comes down to, or 3 times for a huge amount of burst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not going to have any problems generating threat at the beginning.
Oh dear God, no.
No. All right, so let's talk Mistweaver. 2-piece bonus. Vital Mists increases the healing of Surging Mist by 20% per stack. So every time your Soothing Mist heals a target, you will gain Mistweaving effect. Mistweaving increases your multi-strike healing by 5%. So this is a Fistweaver buff.
So does this mean that your multi-strike heals go from 30% to 35%, or that you have a 5% higher chance to multi-strike a heal?
I think because it says multi-strike healing, that would assume that anything that multi-strikes would go from 30 to 35.
I'm thinking it's the first one.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and that kind of synergizes real nicely with our what do they call it? Attunement.
Mm-hmm.
Our mist weaving attunement, which is multi-strike. You get an additional 5% from your gear. It's very nice, and you're going to be casting a hell of a lot of soothing mist. A hell of a lot of soothing mist. Now, I don't remember seeing anywhere that this has a cooldown, so this is going to be the kind of thing where you're going to have it up the entire fight.
Right.
Reading it like this. So you're just going to have your mist weaving uptime is going to be 100%.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting they're giving both a fist weave and a mist weave section. So this is going to make surging mist hit like it already hits like a truck. This is going to be hitting like a semi.
Yeah.
So because you're only going to be casting surging mist when you're at 5 stacks, so it's going to be 100% increased healing on this. So
yeah,
that's fantastic.
And when you're not doing vital mists, you get the other effect as well. Your soothing mist heals a target, you gain mist weaving, which means someone who's straight mist weaving, they're going to be healing so much more. This is going to be a really nice one for mist weavers who want to go tank heals, because you're going to need dedicated tank healers in the next expansion.
Yep, and this is going to get, and this explains why mistweavers have the critical strike or the multi-strike attunement.
Yep,
they're focusing on multi-strike. So.
I still don't agree with that. Whatever.
We'll see. All right, 4-piece. Heal has a 10% chance to imbue you with Chi-Chi's guidance. Chi-Chi's guidance increases your spirit by 10% for 10 seconds.
Do you guys remember the placeholder text? The placeholder text for the Mistweaver 4-piece was my favorite bit of text I've ever seen. Something cool increases your spirit by 1%.
Yep.
This has a 10% chance to give you 10% spirit. Overall effect, you have 1% additional spirit through a fight.
Yep.
Chi-Chi's guidance is something cool? No, it is not, sir.
This is like a super boring, because spirit is still, unless they make changes to Monity and our generation, it's still going to be a completely undervalued stat. It's something we're going to want to shed and get rid of. So we'll see how it goes.
The only people who are going to want spirit is fist weavers casting crackling jade lightning too much.
Right. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. But I think this is a really boring 4-piece. I imagine it's got a hell of a lot of tuning to go. So let's get to Windwalkers before the dojo kills us. All right. 2-piece. Fists of Fury generates 4 Tiger Eye Brew stacks. 4 Tiger Eye Brew stacks? What?
Yes, please.
Yes. I'll take this. So I think this definitely has some tuning to do. What do you think, Air?
I like it how it is. I think we should keep it. In fact, we should buff it. We should be getting
6, 8,
minimum 6. Yeah, if they're making it 6G, might as well make it 6 Tiger's Eye Brew stacks as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's solid reasoning right there.
Yes, absolutely.
I like the number 6. 6 is higher than 4.
Yeah,
make
6 is higher than 4. We're good.
I like it.
So this is great because
says 6.
Yeah, Fists of Fury is something that you're going to have to get used to as a Windwalker. This is going to be an on cooldown thing, and now that we have Glyph of the Floating Butterfly and all the other changes that happens, is there's no reason not to cast Fists of Fury on cooldown. Go ahead.
Have you used the Glyph of the Fighting Butterfly?
I have not yet, because it's not in the friggin' beta.
It is. It was in the alpha. If you created a new character, if you created a model character, 500 item level, it gave you all of the glyphs.
Oh, see, it didn't when I did my character on the alpha. So I didn't.
So when I did mine, I had it, and it's funny because you're sitting there running around and it looks hilarious, but I'm okay with that because hopefully they can find a better way to make it look, because it just looks funny just running around punching everything. But I'm real happy to have that ability back. Although when you're leveling, you really do miss that stun.
Yeah.
Especially at a lower item level.
Yeah, so. the stun is very nice, but this is not one you'll want to do when you're when you're soloing, because everything is facing you anyways and not running away. So,
Yeah.
but this will be in raiding. This will be like the best glyph ever. So
It'll be fantastic. It'll be great. It'll be great.
So what's the cooldown on Fist of Fury? Remind me.
15 seconds.
15 seconds. So every 15 seconds, you're gonna get 4 stacks.
15 or 20.
I think it might be 20.
One or the other.
Okay, I've been thinking about using with I've been using with AOC actually on
so that'd be 15.
on the beta. So
Yep.
it's the numbers mess up in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sizable cooldown. I think 20 does sound a lot better. It might even be 30. But anyways,
sorry,
it's
25 seconds.
25. All right, average it out. Good.
Yes.
So it's a long cooldown, but you're gonna want to use it. It's been buffed massively. It hits all the things. It hits your main target 100%, and then it cleaves off other ones, which is really nice. Versus splitting the damage, which is so it's free extra damage on top of that. So yeah, get used to it.
Yeah,
Learn to love it.
Even without those 2-piece, definitely get used to it because oh my god, it hits hard. So with this 2-piece, I think it's a good one. They're definitely focusing in on trying to get us to use multi-strike, energizing brew, and Fist of Fury, and this is just going down that road. So let's talk 4-piece. So 4-piece, while Tiger Eye Brew's damage effect is active, you will gain forceful winds, and I think they make a pill for that. But forceful winds increases multi-strike damage by 2% per stack a Tiger Eye Brew consumes. So almost always you're going to do it at 10 stacks, so consider a 20% buff to your multi-strike damage. So it'll do 50% instead of 30.
15 seconds of 20% multi-strike buff.
Yeah, so this isn't multi-strike chance. This is multi-strike damage. So,
20% multi-strike damage.
Yeah, so you're going to it's going to be hitting for 50% each time instead of 30. Which is holy crap.
Okay.
Yeah, this is yes.
Okay.
So this is actually a 4-piece we'll actually want to use for once. So it's fantastic.
So our multi-strike is being multi-striked.
Yes, essentially. Yeah.
Okay. I can do words.
Yes.
No, it sounds good. I like it. It sounds good. These things right now as they sit, they sound like good things that we really want to get. I'm hoping they stay like this, especially multi-strike is becoming a very signature. You know, for the Windwalker, it's becoming our go-to thing. We bring a 5% multi-strike buff to the raid now.
It's not like you need cleave.
No.
Yeah, it's for monks. It's all about hitting something, and before you know it, you've hit them 2 extra times. 2, 3,
up to 2 extra times.
Yeah, so you've hit them 2 extra times in a blink of an eye. That sounds very monkey.
Yeah.
Monk-like.
Monk-like, yes. I just wish... I hope that there's actually a decent animation for it. I want an animation for multi-strike.
That'd be very nice. Multi-strike animation would be cool. When this buff is up, something similar to the breeze trinket that you get off Eileen. The shifting gale and the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, maybe? No. Yeah. There's a rare you can kill, and you get a little trinket thing, a little toy that makes wind follow you as you walk.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I read the shifting cloud, I think it is. Yeah, but yes, so that little trinket you need because every Windwalker needs to have that used on cooldown.
Okay. Well, students, it's time now to meditate and expand our knowledge in
Transcendence.
So, we have dual spec, but we are a tri-spec class. Brewmaster, Mistweaver, Windwalker, all completely different. Different roles, different feel. And as a monk, should we have tri-spec? What are your thoughts? Air, what do you think?
Why not? A lot of other classes are looking at it too. They talk. It'd be nice to even have it just for a PvP spec. If you wanted to do that. The gear changes in Warlords. With having all you need is an extra set of rings, trinkets, neck. All the rest of the gear is going to automatically switch stats for whatever's good for you, which is nice. It seems like it'd be very easy to make it work as far as programming
implementation
goes. It's who knows, But it'd be nice to see. It would make me want to try brewmastering on my monk, or it would have. It'd be nice to have that flexibility, especially if you do like playing all three. So I'm all for it. I think it's cool.
All right. As for counterpoint, I personally think I would love to have tri-spec, but as a counterpoint to make this an interesting conversation, having the ability for a monk in particular to have all three specs ready to go limits your focus and your ability to master a particular spec. Because if you're constantly switching back and forth, you get good at the overall class, but you become a jack of all trades, master of none. And also, if everyone who could be a tank is able to switch out at a moment's notice and go tank, then you're prohibiting being able to bring other people in. As I know that there's been a number of times when Rolling Thunder has been short a tank, and my two specs are Mistweaver and Windwalker. If I was able to just easily switch over to Brewmaster, and I thought about it a couple times, but the hassle of changing and getting all my glyphs and getting all my key binds and everything set up, pain in the butt. So what I do is I bring in someone else from the community to come read with us instead. And so I think if you had that ability to easily flit around, that might limit community interaction.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. Duke?
I say no, but I have a twist. I don't think we should have tri-spec. I honestly don't think we should have dual spec. I think we should have the ability to go into our specialization tree and say, right now, I am a brewmaster, and have it bring up your ability bar that you saved the last time you were a brewmaster, because we know Blizzard saves their ability bar configuration. Why do they not save it per spec and instead save it per configuration that you have set up and then only allow you 2 configurations? It would immediately solve a big problem for druids in that they can only be half their specs. And honestly, it is so cheap and simple to reset your talents and your glyphs that just make that part of the cost of switching.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see in place. I don't want to see this dual spec, tri-spec, none of that. I want to have the option to just go into my specialization and say, well, I need to level up as a Mistweaver, but I do really bad DPS, so I'm going to go Windwalker until I'm like level 90 something. The gear now changes between intellect and agility, depending on what spec you are. So the only limiter right now is some artificial limit that Blizzard put in and says you can only have 1 alternate spec. The gear changes. It's going to be real easy to get other gear because with the armor being so, you no longer need to have 5 different versions of intellect mail and 5 different versions of agility mail. You now have 5 different versions of mail. All those slots that would have been given to other armors can now be given to trinkets and rings and weapons and neck pieces and cloaks and all of that, which is what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot more of those going out.
Yeah.
So why is now the limit an artificial limit and no longer a time limit? Because now I can get the gear I need to be a good brewmaster. I can get the gear I need to be a good Mistweaver. And if I get my 4-piece, I have all 3 4-pieces.
Yep.
All 3. There is no longer that hard time investment limit.
So Tiger King brings up a good point. I kind of agree with this, is making your choice a choice. If we go down your path, Duke, and make it so I can just switch willy-nilly between the specs, you have to change your glyphs and whatnot, but it doesn't really make it... You don't have a choice that you make on which spec you get. Here, it's like the way they have it now with the dual spec, and I would be okay with them going back to 1 spec, honestly. I would be okay with that, because you make a choice. I say, I am a Windwalker monk. There's none of this, oh, can you heal instead? Can you switch to DPS? Can you do this? It's like, no, I'm a Windwalker, period. I think the reason they wanted to do this dual spec thing back in the day was because you would have it was mainly more for the straight DPS classes, mages in particular, where fire would be absolutely useless on one boss. and give you the ability to switch and be Frost for that one fight and switch back. It wasn't really designed for the tank and
it
hybrid
had a
classes.
huge resource cost to switch. Huge resource cost. Because you had to have your talent set up, and you had to pay for the respec, and then you had to go back after and pay for it again. So just paying for it once was great. And don't forget that when dual spec first came out, it cost like 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
It was nuts, the amount of cost, and that 1,000 gold was a savings.
Yeah, Tiger Crane brings up another good point. So she has a DPS and tank spec. That's her focus. She doesn't want to be expected to have a healing spec at all times. That way we'd almost be back to the mentality of vanilla, where it's like, as you're a druid, you're expected to be a healer.
Yeah.
And it'd be almost back to that mentality. No, it's a lot better balanced, so I don't think that'd be an issue. But druids would have a hard time. They would just be like, "Oh, well, we need a healer, so can you switch to healer?" And I've never really played healer. Yes, I have it set up, and yes, if I switch my gear out, everything will switch. But I suck at it. It's just like we're not going to ask Duke to go Windwalker. So
Not if you want to down bosses.
right. So I kind of like keeping it at the 2 spec. I would love tri-spec for myself, but I think overall for game health wouldn't be that great. There was a really good point that someone brought up. Who was it? Go ahead,
I will
Duke.
say this about that point, though, that point sounds a lot to me like the point of, well, you shouldn't speak multiple languages around a child because then they won't really learn them. What'll actually happen is the kid will learn all 3 of them.
Right.
And that's
Be a
what will
master of
happen.
which one?
Well, I don't know. Japanese?
Yeah. Japanese is the right answer, yes.
Too much Voltron. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Zagnut had a really good suggestion, too, because particularly for people who like to PvP, they have to dedicate one of their specs to PvP. Have the PvP talents set up. It's not so much of a big deal now because talents and glyphs are so easy to switch.
Yeah.
But it used to be a really big deal back in the day where I had this the same way. I would have my tank spec and then my PvP tank spec. And so it'd be really good if they had a separate dedicated PvP spec. And when you entered PvP, it would automatically switch to that instead of... So I think that would be really, really cool addition to have.
I think it'd be really nice, especially with as PvP heavy that the expansion is kind of pushing people to be. I think that'd be a really
Which
nice
makes
thing.
no sense for this expansion whatsoever.
Supposed to be working together, right?
Right.
Pandaria should have been the PvP expansion.
We had the opportunity to destroy the Horde like we should have, and we didn't take it. Now we got to go fight them? Okay.
They're over there. I can smell the
lore.
bacon they're cooking.
So let me go ahead and read LeBlue's suggestion for this. He says, it's already pretty easy to switch specs. Action bars are really the hardest part about which requires an add-on or a screenshot, really. It's inconvenient but pretty doable. Being versatile is good, but it's also a loss of identity in some ways, and it could open up people being forced into certain roles they may not want to do, which we kind of brought up already. And I think that's a good thing. So I think you guys have swayed me. I think I've decided dual spec is good enough. So, alright. I think it's now time to travel to the Peak of Serenity, the home of all monks in
Zen pilgrimage.
Monks, assemble!
Alright, community has asked a few questions I want to get to. So, at UtterPwnedNoob on Twitter, great Twitter handle. Monk NPCs and characters played a big role in Mists of Pandaria, but do you think they're just going to vanish in Warlords?
Probably.
Yes. I have not seen
The story's
single Pandaren.
done.
Yeah.
The story is done. This is now Draenei's and Orcs. Welcome to Draenei Orcland.
How many Death Knights have we seen since Wrath?
Right.
Or what's his name? Darian Mograine is still hanging out in ICC, wondering when they're going to kill the Lich King.
Right. And we haven't seen too much of the Blood Elves. So the Blood Elf leader, can't even remember his name because I don't play that race, but Lorthamar?
Kale?
Lorthamar, yeah.
Yeah,
Lorthamar.
He's made a couple of plays in Mists. He's tried to come back, but we even in this expansion we did not get to see, was it G Firepaw and
Isla?
Yeah, we saw them at the end when they were saving each.
Yeah, when she was saving him.
Save G.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So
you know what's great? If you're in an LFR queue for that and you just wait around, they do execute them.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good.
You just sit there and wait 15, 20 minutes. It's super long, but yeah, they do execute them, and then you can sit back and laugh.
Oh.
Because it was horde.
Do you do the same thing I do? Which is when they
Kill the horde
let the
killers?
guy out, it's like, okay, the troll came out, he put down his totem of resistance, thanks, crackling G lightning.
Always.
So we didn't
Half
get
a
to
world
see,
high five.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the Pandaren faction leaders, is what they technically are. We didn't actually get to see them very much in this expansion, which is sad. I think they had the capability to really play them up in that story, and I think they did a good job when you actually come off of the turtle. Spoilers, and it's they did a good job of that. The beginning when you're actually talking with Garrosh and talking with Varian is really solid. I think it was good storytelling, but then it just dropped. You never heard from them again until the very end at Siege of Orgrimmar.
Man, I want more stories with the Monkey King, because that was the greatest character ever.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't finish that sentence.
So it's I think in Warlords,
Epic story with a Monkey King.
yeah,
What?
with Warlords we're not going to see much of the Shadow Pan. I think their story is told. We're not going to see much of the Pandaren.
The Shadow Pan was pretty much dedicated only to Pandaria and only to wiping out the Shah. The Shah's gone.
Yep.
It really
they're going
is.
into hibernation for
The
another
post-
They
1,000
live in
years.
our hearts.
Yes.
The post-siege Pandaria no longer has to worry about Shah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that they dropped the Pandaren. They dropped the ball on the Pandaren for the most part through this
100%.
expansion. So if they didn't do it in Mist, it's not happening in Warlords either. This is going to be the story about the orcs and the Draenei, and that's about it. Hopefully we'll see some cameos from Lore Walker Cho, and hopefully Terran Zoo will make a return somewhere. But
you'll
I doubt
probably see them as followers in your garrison.
it. That'd be cool. I would like Terran
And
Zoo as a
that's-
follower. That'd be cool.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Really, that's about it.
All right, so Duke, I'm going to let you take this question.
All right.
At Pinkston Nathan on Twitter asked, "What is the biggest pitfall a new Brewmaster Monk can fall into, other than letting Shuffle fall off?"
Well, the first thing is saying, how about I tank? All right. Happily, LeBlue gave us a really nice spiel here, and his first one was using Breath of Fire on single target. I've used Breath on Fire on single target, but that's when I have like 30 seconds of shuffle. I have chi and I need to dump it, and I figure, well, why not breathe fire this one time? I only do it because literally I've got nothing else to do, and the boss is on farm, so go for it. But in general, do not do it on a single target. It's a waste of time. Bosses are generally not affected by dizzying haze, so you're not going to get the dot portion of Breath of Fire. In addition to this, you are generating no shuffle, which is basically the monk equivalent to forgetting to put on your shield. I'd recommend taking Breath of Fire off of your bars until you're completely comfortable with keeping shuffle up, and then learning to recognize when it's actually going to be useful and won't cause shuffle to fall off. Another random note, purifying way too often. I used to do this a lot when I was starting, because it's like, oh god, 30% stagger. Purify.
Yeah.
I'm now really comfortable with hanging around 120 and 130% stagger, because the healers will heal you through it. And you need chi to blackout kick so that you can gain more shuffle and hit the living thing into it.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, good answer. So I want to move into something that I think the dojo has been waiting for all night.
We got a key or something, don't we?
Yes. Right there. Oh, let me blow that up a little bit. There. Oh, that is a World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor beta key. And it can be yours if you are really bloody lucky.
Yeah.
So, go to bit.ly/monkbeta or visit monkmeditation.com. Let me go ahead and type that into the monk beta. There we go. All right, you can enter to win a key. So the only stipulations are you have to have a monk. If you don't have a monk,
And they have to be level 15.
yes, at least level 15.
We will be checking.
Yes. So you have to provide your character name and the realm, and also your email address so we can contact you if you win. And if you follow at monk_meditation, the show's Twitter, you'll get an extra entry into the contest. So provide your Twitter username as well so we can verify that. This is going to be open until our next show. It's going to close right before the show airs. So that's going to be July 14th. So you have until then to get your entry in. Only one entry per person, please. We have our ways of checking. If you duplicate, you will be kicked out. So just one per person.
Expel duplicate check is wonderful.
Yep. Yep. And we have ways to find out if you have put in multiple entries on different tunes as well. So even if you have 14 monks, just one,
there.
please. Yep.
Right
that
there.
can be yours. All right. So
Put it
let's-
away for safekeeping.
Yep, let's talk about Open Raid. So, Duke, you found out about this. I'll put this to you.
Well, there's, let me find, at Sneezer 1986 is an open raid admin. And on July 12th, which is the weekend before the event we're going to discuss after this, Open Raid is going to do a 4-way all-class flex race. Death Knight, Druid, Paladin, and most importantly, Monk. Sneezer 1986 is going to be leading the Monk team. We're going to have the link in our show notes, but you can also go to @Sneezer 1986. Check his timeline for the link there. It's for Horde Monks. So you have to have a Horde. You have to have at least 520, and he's looking for the best of the best because they want to win. So if you're listening to this, it's in a couple of weeks. It's before our next episode. Go out there, kick some ass, and teach those Death Knights, Druids, and Paladins that they don't even belong in the same class as us when it comes to flex raids.
And then the next week, we're doing it all over again. But this time, it's going to be Monk versus Alliance. Wait. Horde versus Alliance, all monks. So we've done the all monks flex teams before, but this time there's a twist. It's going to be Horde versus Alliance. Again, this is going to be July 19th, Saturday, noon Eastern Time. We're going to go for 4 hours. The lovely at Ned
Lovely, really?
Yes. At NedNerb on Twitter is going to be leading the Horde side, so also known as Wasted because we're going to kick his ass. But he's going to lead the Horde side, and I'm going to lead the Alliance side. We'll post the links in our show notes. You can also visit cheeburst.com for more information about it. Sign up for the open raid for both Horde and Alliance if you want to come with. So some stipulations. We're going to set the minimum eye level to 525. There's not going to be sort of maximum eye level. We're going to take a break after each wing. So we'll have a 5-minute break after each one just so people can get a chance to go to the restroom so you don't have to take breaks during it. Whoever downs Garage first wins, and that's about it. If we're taking forever, if we go 4 hours and there's no down, then whoever's furthest will happen. I am working on setting up a stream that's going to have both of them, and there's going to be commentary. I'm working on that, so hopefully we'll have a solidified stream that'll be able to bounce back and forth between them like they do at BlizzCon. So that should be a lot of fun. So I know,
Sweet.
yeah, Duke and I will be part of the Alliance one. Air won't be able to make it, unfortunately.
The weekend, sorry guys, I'd love to join otherwise.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get LeBlue and Naoyuki and, well, Adam will be working, and he's also Dirty, Filthy Horde. So, hopefully we can get the...
We have to keep a minimum of one Horde host.
Yes, it's required.
Contractually bound. It's part of Blizzard's, charter when it comes to having a podcast.
Right. All right, so look for those notes at cheeburst.com, also in our show notes. So come join us, have some fun, and let's kick the Horde's butt. All right, the dojo. We have a question from the dojo. Zagnut asks, am I the only monk that doesn't like using Xuen?
Zhuen, Schwen, Shuit, Pele, Schuster, what?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yes. Who doesn't like the big sparkly lightning kitty? Honestly.
Come on. It's a giant glowing lightning cat.
It also depends on the fight, though. Galacrass screws Schwen. Get him out. And I always forget to put him back, so I never have Schwen out for Iron Juggernaut. I'm always rushing Jade Winning for nothing. It's awesome. I really need like an add-on that will like point when I point at a mob, it'll say single target, Schwen. That'd be nice.
A notebook with a little like piece of paper with every boss and every trash pack of what you should be doing helps.
Yeah, that's
I recommend that.
Too much work. I need it to be done automatically, or it's not happening. All right, any other questions from the dojo? Nope.
I think
not that I see.
Acid Sweet might have something. Could be typing it up. She said when I said any other questions, she said yes, and we haven't heard from her since. Come back to us.
Come back.
We have whiskey. Whiskey.
Yeah. And just to confirm, Duke, the beta key is good pretty much worldwide, as long as there's a server out there for you?
It is good worldwide. This key will unlock your account. Everyone plays on the same beta servers.
Ah, that's true.
That's the trick. So this will enable your account to access the Warlord's beta server.
There you go.
And
that's good because we have
says,
a whole
never
bunch
mind.
we have a whole bunch of people from Russia signed up. So yeah, I hope they don't win only because
Send
I
vodka.
can't pronounce their name because it's in the weird characters. I'll have to throw that in Google Translate.
How many? Let's give our listeners an idea of how many people have signed up for this. How many people have signed up for it?
As of the start of this recording, 1,700.
Right.
Yeah, and
1,700 people? What the F?
we don't even have 1,700 listeners. Like the hell.
We've never had 1,700 hits.
I think we have had 1,700 hits. Let's be.
All right.
All right. Well, I think it's time to put the brew away. But first, let's go see what shout-outs we've got. So, Air, you had some interesting shout-outs. So go
Hey,
ahead.
shout out to Blizzard customer support. Apparently, having a US account with an Asian IP, and if you trade something to someone for no money, that gets you flagged by their automatic system for exploiting the economy. So, thank you Blizzard support for unbanning me twice this week for stuff that I did not do. Funny now, but hopefully I can avoid a hat trick in the near future.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
after we heard that you got banned, I turned to Chai and said, "Okay, who do you think is next?" We never thought we'd see a repeat.
Yeah, seriously. I was next. It was great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I still vote for Air being next again.
Yeah, it's on my VPN next time I try to trade something, I guess.
Yeah.
Stop connecting through those Russian proxies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to give a shout out to Ro from the Realm Maintenance Podcast, as well as a whole bunch of other projects. Oh, God. All right, so I'm going to be on his podcast coming up soon, so keep an eye out for
Nice.
that. Duke should be joining me as well, so keep an eye out for more information about monk meditation on Realm Maintenance. So, LeBlue wants to give a nice shout out too. He says, Molten Core for Capital City or Riot. Yes. So please rate us on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, or on Twitch.tv. Your subscription numbers really do help us out. As part of the Monk community, also, if you have a blog, website, or person you want to see on the show, reach out to us, please, at show@monkmeditation.com. We want to showcase the best class in the World of Warcraft, and that's obviously the Monk. So, Daikatsu, how can the dojo best reach us?
Well, you can follow the show at monk_meditation. Follow Chai T at WowMonk. Now Yuki can be found at NowYuki_CTR. Air, the monk father, can be found at Airwalker. Guanshu is at Geek of Random, and LeBlue is at Kaguri_LeBlue. And since I am not on the list, I will add myself. I can be found at Daikatsu CTR, no underscore.
Why'd you delete
That's
yourself,
funny.
man? Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. All right, thank you all for
I need to
listening.
stop drinking.
You can watch us live Monday, July 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 100 UTC at twitch.tv/wowmonk. You can also catch us after the fact on iTunes, Stitcher, Twitch, YouTube.com, and monkmeditation.com. Monk Meditation is part of Catalyst Gaming Media. For other great gaming blogs, podcasts, and events, visit catalystgamingmedia.com. That wraps up this episode of Monk Meditation.
May your bruise be strong and your heart stronger.